Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1, season number 13, round 14, which takes us to the Italian Grand Prix and the legendary Monza circuit. My name is Kieran McGinley. It's a Thursday tonight, so that can only mean one thing. Andy Campbell joins me in the box. Andy, how are you tonight?
Very well. If anyone follows me on Twitter, apologies for the nonsense that was tweeted last night. If you want to go and have a laugh at it, please do. I was a bit merry. But
I,
looking forward to tonight. It's Monza. It's the Temple of Speed. It's the home of Ferrari, the Tifosi. It's a legendary track, and it's going to probably be an absolute slipstream fest, especially with the DRS as well. So, really looking forward to this one tonight. Should be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, Andy, one of the legendary tracks on the calendar. Of course, the first Grand Prix back in 1950, but obviously we have the old circuit, the old disused circuit. The banking around there is incredible. If you ever go to the Italian Grand Prix, see if you can sneak your way onto the old oval. It's an absolutely amazing banking there. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, that the banking is somewhere between 35 degrees and 40 something degrees. It's almost a 45-degree angle, that banking at one
It's
point.
it is very steep. I don't know it off the top of my head, so you know what? I'm going to Google it right now. Just find out for sure. Track banking. Right, let's just see what I can figure out here.
And whilst Andy hums to himself,
Yeah, well you do. Well you carry on. And I'll find that answer out because I'm now actually interested. Ah, there we go. 30 degrees.
oh, 30 degrees. Oh, I overhyped it. Anyway,
There we go.
still 30 degrees though. You'd have some trouble walking up it. That is for sure.
No,
And
definitely,
well,
definitely so.
we had to postpone and abandon the cup, the mid-season cup, on Tuesday due to connection issues in PSN and Codemaster. So we do apologise for that. We are back tonight, and well, Andy, it's a little bit of a shortened field tonight, but nevertheless, I'm still looking forward to it. We still have two Ferraris here, so by all means, let's get cracking.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the smaller field just means more chance for drivers to pick up points, higher points than they'd maybe expect to. Also means that we're probably not going to see too many, I would imagine, on the super sauce. Because there's not going to be as much of a disadvantage if you don't. If you think you'd just sneak into the top 10, there's now not as much of a disadvantage if you don't, so you're only 2 places back. So some of the drivers that might expect to be a wee bit further down the field might just play it safe, look for the long haul, because it is going to be a dry race. We've got Maze there in the chat saying the weather is dry, and also saying hi to the Dream Team as well, which of course we are. Absolutely are. So it should be interesting though, even with the chill drivers, and hopefully they don't take themselves out into turn one and we end up with Spa last year, which we were joking about last week. Don't want that.
Well, here's an interesting thing. What about next season? This we're seeing from Jack here, who, of course, if you didn't keep up with the PSN name changes, is Squeezy. Jack here, completely missing the first chicane, Retafilio, completely missing the second chicane, Roger. It's not against the rules, but will there be a regulation change to say that you can't do that next season? I wonder.
Possible. I mean, I do know some leagues that actually do have that in the rules to stop people from cheating it, basically. He's nearly lost it trying to warm his tyres up there hitting the grass, so you never know, it might be, but he's going to be, as usual anyway, the first one to set a lap time coming down towards the Parabolica, so I'm sure you've got the onboard camera ready and rocking. Let's
Take it
take.
away.
Hopefully no crashing this week like he did last week up at Eau Rouge and Radion. But anyway, across the line now, up to over 18 miles an hour, looking for the braking point into the first chicane, the Variante Retafilio, down into first gear, 50 miles an hour, and as low as 40 miles an hour there through the second part, very tight indeed, and then back on the power and back up through the gears, through the Curva Grande, and back onto 8th gear, over 200 miles an hour for the second time in this lap. Find the braking point into the second chicane, the Variante della Roggia, and then we head up to the back end of the circuit, the first of the two Lesmo corners. Chuck it in, 4th gear, about 100 miles an hour. There's a Ferrari in the wall there, which is crazy, like, so he's already out of the session. Second Lesmo's a little bit easier than the first one, you can get through that a bit more, and then back on the power, DRS again, enabled back over 200 miles an hour underneath the old banking there under the bridge and into the Ascari chicane. And again, fourth gear using as much of the curb as he dares, but getting a huge tank slapper on the exit. That'll probably have invalidated the lap time possibly. He is weaving just to check any damage. But heading down towards Parabolica, the fourth time on the lap that you'll hit over 200 miles an hour, down to fourth gear, around about 110, chuck it in, get it to the apex, fly out, drift out to the outside, follow the white line, and then dive into the pits as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That is a lap. That is a lap of 3.6 miles here at Monza.
Absolutely. And, well, a couple of name changes, if you didn't already know, all over the PSN network and whatnot, as Ollie sets a 119.5. We're watching Cooper here, who was Pursuit, so all these name changes we've got to get used to again. It's almost like a brand new season. But there is Cooper then, 121.6. The other name change, the big one, you can see the Taurus there, is Naz. Naz or Nas, we'll have to get used to that one. But that is Little Pieces' new name, so he will be from now on.
I'm glad you keep up with this stuff because I would struggle. But it will be Nas because it just reminds. I think it's. I'm sure it's not, but it just reminds me of a rapper. I'm sure you'll remember the very one I'm talking about as well, probably. Kieran. Force India off there in the background. I'm just watching Ollie coming through on his in lap now. He's at the top of the standings at a 1 minute 19.565. As I just mentioned in there, so really, really quick lap time. I'm just trying to find this year's qualifying lap record from the 2018 race, and I can't find it. I had it in front of me and I've lost it. But I know it was Raikkonen, and I don't think we're too far off of that already, to be honest. So let's just see if I can quickly find that. Nope, it's not going to let me.
The legendary pole lap where Kimi Raikkonen, on being congratulated on pole, just simply said thank you.
Yeah, the one that I believe broke Juan Pablo Montoya's fastest lap record in terms of speed as well, that he held from back when he was in a V10 screaming BMW in the back of a Williams. So can't find it, can't be bothered looking for it. I'll give up. We'll just carry on what's in front of us.
It does show you what behemoth these cars have actually become. That now they've broken a record that stood the test of time. The 2003 car, which is in this very game because it was the fastest average speed car or average speed qualifying lap time of all time. And now it's being broken. So expect in 2020, 2021 these cars to be back as a classic car because they've made history.
They have indeed, and it just shows you the way technology is, because obviously that car was, as I say, a V10, so 10 valves, doing about 900, 850, 900 horsepower, revving to about 18,000 RPM, and now we're on obviously to these 1.6 litre V6 turbo hybrid cars. They rev to around about 12,000 roughly. But when you put the hybrid into there, they're pushing out around about the same sort of horsepower. They've got a lot more downforce as well than what the previous cars used to have. Obviously, all these wings and advancements and everything. So yeah, we'll probably see that Ferrari back, considering it broke that record in future games in a few years' times, maybe. But that BMW, though, I love that Williams BMW. It was a phenomenal car.
Absolutely, it sounds absolutely astonishing. Alan Kay's lost it on the exit of Ascari. On the run up towards Parabolica, he's lost it on the curb, and that's the point of no return. Hits the barrier. That's Alan Kay out of qualifying. He has set a lap time, but it's a 1:26.3. That was definitely a banker lap time from him. But the Renault driver is out of qualifying. Now, he did have to end his stream. Normally he streams his practice session beforehand. He did have to end it early, so I wonder if that maybe could be a contributing factor. We'll have to keep an eye on him and see how he does in the race tonight.
Definitely so, and it's in most weekends, most evenings, that would probably be the most terrible thing to happen. It's probably going to consign you outside the top 10, etc. But with the 12 cars that we've got, Jack goes on to an 8.9, phenomenal time there, half a second clear of Ollie. But with just the 12 cars, even though he's Alan's lap is 7 seconds off the pole time now. As you say, just a bit of a banker, a feeler lap there. It's not the biggest disappointment, considering the size of the amount of drivers we've got. If this had been an 18, 19 car field, then it would have been a much bigger challenge for them, obviously coming through the field. But with just the 12 drivers here, it's not too bad in that sense. So it's as much as it's frustrating, it's not going to be the end of the world there for the Irishman.
Hey, what here, Naz has got a bit of traffic now coming into the Parabolica. He's actually run into the back of the Mercedes. Sorry, not the Parabolica, into the Lesmos. What am I talking about? As he makes contact again, and he's definitely venting his frustration here. He was on a flying lap. Now Jack has already completed his lap, and you would think he's on his way back towards the pit lane. I think Naz might take that one to the stewards there.
Well, I don't know if you noticed it on your side. I jumped on board with Naz, and it obviously brings up the gamer tag's name over the other car, and you could see it on Jack's, and to the side of it said AI. Now, I never noticed if Jack had left the session, but it makes me think, could he maybe have left the session that we don't know of? I don't know. It's weird because his car's not ghosting, but it's a strange one. I'm not too sure, but I did see the letters A and I next to his name there. It made me think maybe that's why he's kind of holding Naz up, because he's actually not in control of the car, but normally it would ghost when that happens, so that was a weird one. Who knows? We'll need to find that one out.
Not anymore. It used to back in the previous patch of the game, but the recent one meant that if you pause the game now, your car still remains solid. And in the rules in TTL, if you basically go into the pause menu or you retire out on track, you're still responsible for your AI-controlled car. So, I don't know, we could see that in the stewards. That could be a qualifying reprimand there for Jack. He's on pole position right now, but it would have to be a retrospective ban or punishment for the next race.
And what is the next race? Singapore. Somewhere where you really need to be good at qualifying and be up the grid. So if that was to be something like that, it could not have come at a worse track except for Monaco. So we'll need to wait and see. Who knows, that Naz might decide that he was not on a maybe he wasn't on a hot lap, maybe, I don't know, but we'll need to wait and see in that one. But at the moment it means that Jack is still in provisional pole position. All he has closed the gap down to just under 0.3 of a second down. Then it's Cooper in third place in the Force India, but that's 1.1 seconds down on pole position. So once again we're seeing the top two, same as we were. We've seen obviously Ollie winning in Spain. Oh, Cooper's crashed out. He's done exactly what I think Alan Kay did at Ascari. He's just dropped it on the exit. It's pitched the car straight to the left hand side and into the wall, and he is minus his front wheel. And that is the Force India out of the session as well. So that's two drivers that have binned it at Ascari, and Crazy Legs who binned it going through the Lesmo corner. So 3 people out of this session already, and all of them due to crashes. Just maybe pushing a little bit too hard early doors.
Yeah, absolutely. And normally I would say, well, you can bring on the top 10 now, but obviously with Cooper saying a lap time and Alan Kay also saying a lap time, you do need to set a competitive one to get back into the top 10. As Ollie crawls his way back towards the pit lane, running out of fuel with just under 7 minutes to go. It is Jack on provisional pole with a 1:18.991. It's Ollie here coming into the pit lane, 1:19.281. Cooper, who has since crashed out of qualifying, with a 1:20.1. Graham there in 4th, Sean in 5th. Alan Kay is in 6th, Mays in 7th, Crazy 8th, who's already crashed out, having not set a lap time. White is currently out on track, classified as 9th at the moment. Plaster in 10th, hasn't yet joined the circuit. Now's there, who did join the circuit, but got that front wing damage with Jack. He's come back to the pit lane in 11th place. And George Roberts, who's just emerged onto the track now, currently classified as 12th place.
And George out on the soft compound tyres as well, so the middle compound of the 3 available to the drivers here this evening. But I would say, I'm going to probably say it now, although I know he's probably watching the stream, but I'd be surprised if Mays and maybe even Plaster don't even come out at pit lane, to be honest. We've seen it before from them. They've usually left it late or not done anything at all, especially with the lower fields. So don't be surprised if you don't see that. They might just leave it to the last minute and just put in a lap just to get ahead of anybody who, like Crazy Legs for example, has not set a lap time, is currently 8th place. I think we've seen that, was it last week at Spa somebody done that? Or it was just in the qualifying, they actually were ahead of drivers that never crashed out the session because they had actually set competitive sector time, never mind, rather than a lap. So the good thing would be to get out of track and at least get a sort of banker in like what Alan did. And try to make sure you're ahead of those who have crashed out like crazy. As Jack goes even quicker, only by a little bit. It's now just gone up by I think 9/1000ths of a second, that gap now. So he's found a little bit of time there, takes it to an 18.982 as he goes flying through the chicane again, being very, very cheeky, especially considering that there was a car in front of him there, which is now behind him, and I believe that was the Renault of Sean, who's just gone on to a flying lap as well. So that's a bit naughty there from Jack. He needs to be careful with that one.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, it's not against the rules, unless, of course, you cause an incident. But them's the rules. Andy, that's all we can say about that.
No, it's true, and it's one of those bits that you've got to be careful, because if you mistime something, you could easily swipe someone out in one go. So even without that, though, you can easily put off the driver who you've then just sneaked in front of. You're then impeding that driver. It's going to maybe distract them for a moment, and it can be frustrating for that person following behind. And we'll see if anything changes, but at the moment he's not going to have any problems with it. He just needs to be careful when he's doing that. Don't want to upset any other of the drivers. Sean's just pulled into pit lane as well, so he wasn't happy with that lap. Could that have been because of that? Who knows? We might find out later on. I did notice as well, just after the stream got started, Spike actually saying hi to us, really frustrated he couldn't be here. He'd only just got out of work. That is the worst thing when you've got something that you want to do. That is the worst.
Oh, absolutely. And missing out on the Temple of Speed as well is not ideal at all. There's Ollie then flying through Ascari, running a little bit wide on the exit then as we now head our way up towards the Parabolica. Fantastic sweeping right hand corner here, and with the error of these cars you still need to do a lot of braking here. You can carry a lot of speed through, you can see that. Over 170 kph as Ollie now makes his way back to the pit lane. Well, never mind.
Yeah, just obviously wasn't too happy with that one there then. George Roberts has got himself up into 6th place. He's set a lap time. It's nearly 5 seconds down on the soft tyres, but it does mean he has set a lap time. Mays has joined the track, as has Plaster. So they are now on their first laps, I do believe, just having gone out. Plaster's on the medium tyres. Mays is on the soft banded yellow tyres, so we'll keep an eye on how they do. Obviously Plaster driving for home honour for the Tifosi here in that Scarlet Ferrari. Be interesting to see what he and Crazy Legs, who's crashed out, can do come the race. But obviously we're getting into that tail end of the championship, Kieran, and Jack's got himself a pretty nice lead at the moment in the championship. He's on 258 points, Ollie on 166. That's nearly, what's that? I can't do maths quick enough. I think is it a 12-point gap? Yeah, 12-point gap that is. No, not 12. Shut up, Andy. 92-point gap. My maths is terrible, I did say it.
I mean, if it was a 12-point gap, Andy, I'd have been trying to get my calculator out thinking, what?
Yeah, no, I knew what I meant. I was adding the two and then not forgetting to add on the other 90, basically. That's what I was doing wrong there, but it's pretty it's pretty good a gap there for Jack, but obviously Ollie's now won, is that 2 in a row now? One at Hungary, one at Belgium?
It is indeed, yeah, so he'll be making...
So on for a hat-trick.
On for a hat-trick, we'll see if he can get it. He's always said that he loves these Thursday nights, he has a love affair for them, seems to get all his wins, but obviously when he won at Hungary, that was obviously a Tuesday, so who knows, he could be in a good grain of form. The thing about it is though, that Jack has been just so consistently on the podium. There's only been, I think, 2 races this season he's not been on the podium. It was one race he crashed out, and then Hungary he finished 4th. It was actually Britain he crashed out of. So every other race he's either finished 1st or 2nd. That is commanding form.
I don't know, he was 4th last time, was he not, in Belgium? Remember he had that 2 stops, getting caught up in incidents. I don't think he podiumed last time out. So it'd be 3 times, but there is a lot of podiums, so he has been very consistent either way you look at it, though.
Andy's just schooled me on on these facts.
Boom!
It's embarrassing. Well, there's White then, heading through the second Lesbo in towards the DRS straight then as we head underneath the old oval circuit, down the hill then up the crest towards Ascari. Fantastic section this left, right, left section. You really want to attack it, but you can really overcook it, especially on the third part of Ascari. You take too much curve, we've already seen it today, and you risk losing the car altogether and heading straight to that left-hand side tyre wall. Here we go then with White then, heading towards Parabolica, flying through at 181. That was the lowest speed he took through there. And now using that green AstroTurf on the left-hand side, running now towards the line. Where can he get that Haas? It's up to 4th place for White, and it's a 120.2 just as the checker flag flies, and he will get himself another lap. Naz is out there, but White's decided to retire. Is anyone else close to the line? Yes, there's Sean, but he's abandoned his lap, so he'll be coming straight back into the pit lane. Naz is making his way now through Ascari. Now on the run up now towards Parabolica. Where are Jack and Ollie? Well, Jack and Ollie are just coming through the Ascari chicane now, so it's going to be Naz at the front of these two. As he makes his way
Jack's
around.
binned it. Jack's binned it out of Ascari. He's on the right hand side where the club circuit meets. He's just taking too much curb on the outside. He nearly caught it, and then the tyres have gripped from the slide. It's just then pitched him straight into the wall. So he's the third victim at Ascari here already. Ollie couldn't improve on his time, so he stays in second, and that means everybody has done it. So Jack does take pole position, but absolutely major mistake there out of the Ascari chicane. 3 wheels on that wagon, and that's a pretty hefty bill there for the Mercedes team, but it's still pole position, but only by just under 0.3 of a second.
What's interesting though is that Ollie on that lap time went 0.4 quicker, but it was invalidated, so he could have had pole position here. As it stands though, Jack is on pole position, Ollie in second. Cooper will be starting from third with White in fourth. It's Naz on the soft tyres, starting in fifth with Graham in sixth. Sean on the mediums, he'll be starting in seventh place. Mays in eighth on the soft tyres. George Robertson ninth on the soft tyres. Plaster rounding out the top 10 on mediums. Alan Kay setting that lap time before he crashed out. Crazy Legs crashed out on his very first lap out onto the circuit. So not great showing in front of the Tifosi, and he'll be hoping for a much better race as we head towards the Italian Grand Prix. We await 27 laps around this legendary circuit, 5.793 kilometres, and the first Grand Prix dating all the way back to the very first season, 1950. Race distance of around about 150. What's that now? 156 kilometres, I believe that is, race distance. So we're looking at a one stop. If you certainly can start on the soft tyres, it will be a major benefit. It's always misleading, Italy, because you think, oh, it's fast straights, slow corners. You know, that's how I think about it. But you've got to remember that you've got the Lesmos, you've got Ascari, which can really hurt the tyres if you take them the wrong way. And if you've got a setup, especially around the Parabolica, that really eats up the tyres and eats up those rear tyres as well, you're going to be struggling out there, especially on those Red Bull Super Softs.
Definitely so. It is one of those tracks that, as you say, you think, oh, it's not going to be too much of a problem, but there's a lot of high load you put through, especially like through Parabolica, as you say, the Ascari chicane as well. So there's quite a lot of load that goes through the tyres, and that can really eat the tyres up there. Obviously, we knew the top 10 were qualifying and starting on their qualifying, along with Graham in sixth. And we've got Naz, Mace, George on softs, Sean in seventh on the mediums. I'd keep an eye out for him later on in the race, because in comparison, if we take the top two out of the equation, in comparison to everyone else, he's in a good place there, maybe to take that third place if he can keep it on the straight and narrow and avoid any problems. So we'd watch out for him later. Plaster's on medium, Alan Kay and Crazy Legs have gone for the yellow soft tyres. It should be, as you say, an easy sort of one stop if you are starting on the softs or the mediums. Those on the super softs will surely be going for the medium tyres rather than the softs. I'd imagine that's probably going to push them to a two-stop or risk a puncture if they went for softs towards the end of the race. So it should still be easy enough a one-stop strategy, but as you said, Kieran, it is possible to eat the tyres up, and if you've taken a lot of wing out as well, and it just causes the car to maybe just push and understeer into some of the corners like Lesmo and Parabolica, can really eat up those soft tyres, those front tyres. So the drivers will need to be careful. It's not as easy as it looks, just despite the fact that it's only got 3 chicanes, a couple of corners at the back, and a 180 degree at the end. You know, people would look at the track and maybe go, oh, that's easy enough. It's not. It is actually a very tricky track. We've seen 4 crashes out of 12 drivers. So 25% of the drive, in fact, more than 25% of the drivers, actually 5 of them, have crashed out in qualifying. So it just shows you how tricky this track is.
Absolutely, and of course TTL F1 is sponsored by WeakWiFiSolutions.com, who also sponsor the Driver of the Day award, the driver voted Driver of the Day, who will be revealed on the Twitter page of TTL. You can follow them at TTL_F1. And TTL F1 is also sponsored by A Logo, who provide all of the graphics. They also sponsor the fastest lap of the race, which of course we will keep you up to date with as we go. They're looking to try and beat the lap record, 121.046, set by Rubens Barrichello in the legendary F2004. And the screaming engine of that V10 is an unparalleled sound. Some people will say it will never be matched, but these cars do provide a bit of a roar when they're really in action. Here we are then with Jack on the starting grid as we count up towards those 5 red lights. Round 14 is underway, and what are the start cycles? Looks like it's a good start from the Mercedes at the front there. Look out for Ollie then as we head our way down towards turn 1. The 2 Ferraris have not got a good start at all then, as Ollie now tries to find a way up the inside in towards turn 1. A little bit of contact between the front 2, but Jack has just about hold on then towards the lead of the race. Then Cooper just about holding on to 3rd place there, as White Naz up positions there. You can see Ollie right on the tail then of Jack. He's trying to go side by side then through the Curva Grande as they now make their way down the Rogers chicane, as Jack still trying to hold on here through turn 4 and through turn 5. Jack then in the Mercedes still holds on to the lead. It's Ollie in 2nd, Cooper in 3rd as we make our way towards the first Lesmo here. And here we have Naz here as we ride on board with him through the 2nd Lesmo, right on the tail of White on the exit here. Got to be careful of that one as well. That curb there can be very, very harsh on you, especially with the high tyre wear. You can see there White really revving their engine underneath the bridge as we head towards Ascari for the first time. And the top 4, top 5 still remain the same. Meanwhile, then Sean is now 1.4 seconds back from Naz. Those medium tyres are taking a long, long time to warm up, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time. But there you can see the top 5 now making their way towards Parabolica for the first time. Is White going to have a look up the inside of Cooper? No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it. And then they make their way through the Parabolica corner. Everything is nice and tidy so far then. And at the end of the first lap then, Jack is in the lead of the race. Ollie in 2nd, Cooper 3rd, with White in 4th. And Naz is in 5th place, Sean in 6th, Graham 7th, Mason 8th, George Robertson 9th, Alan Kay 10th, Foster 11th, Fraser Legs in 12th. Here comes White then up the inside of turn 1, in towards the Rettifilio chicane. Couldn't quite find the gap, runs onto the grass, and that could be Naz there trying to take advantage, which he does, trying to now go round the outside, and he has got the move done before the Curva Grande. And a relatively small instance here, in fact no instance at all really. It's been a very clean start to this Italian Grand Prix.
That's going to be one of the cleanest league racing starts I've ever seen in my life. Not much going on, everybody together, keeping it clean. They know it's a long race. So Naz there getting ahead of White before Curva Grande. He's up a place from his starting position. Sean's up a place, but as you say, those mediums taking a while to heat up. The only other changes, Alan Kay's up a spot, Crazy Legs is up a spot, and Plaster's down 2. The Ferraris having a little bit of a battle between themselves at the back, along with the Reynolds and the McLaren of White. As White actually sneaks up the inside into the Ascari chicane there. You guys were seeing that on board as I was flicking away through the channels and through the other drivers. So White gets 4th place back to where he started. Can he hunt down that Force India up ahead? Meanwhile, at the front, that Red Bull is still pretty glued that Mercedes, and we've seen that last week in Spa, but last week obviously it was Spike at the helm of the Mercedes. This time it's the championship leader Jack as they go into lap 3. DRS now enabled, and you've got to think, especially for those that started on the super soft tyres, so the top 4 and Graham, it's not going to be too long before they're going to be pitting. They've obviously done qualifying on them as well, so they've already done 2 or 3 laps, plus now on to lap 3 of the race. So you're probably going to see them pitting, I would say, within the next maybe 3 to 6 laps tops, probably around about 4 laps from now. So they need to try and get a bit of a gap as much as possible and try and just help them out later on in the race. But we'll won't be long before we see pit stops. But Ollie is keeping Jack very honest at the moment, and he is right within DRS range. We'll see if he can do anything this time, heading down towards Ascari.
Absolutely, and the Red Bull there really meaning to make business here, because of course this could be 3 wins on the trot. And Jack will be hoping to break that trend as we make our way now through Ascari. Just a quick one then, Crazy, who crashed out on the very first lap of qualifying. Now up to 10th place on those soft tyres. He's into the points. So that is progress for him. Of course, he is trying some races on a wheel, trying to get used to that. It's very difficult to make that transition absolutely perfect. But Crazy up into the points then, and hopefully he can get back some performance he's shown through past seasons. Riding on board with Ollie then as he sets the fast lap race, 1:22.7 at the moment. Of course, DRS assisted as we make our way now down towards the Rettifilio chicane. He turns that ERS all the way down. Meanwhile, further back, battle for 6th place here. Graham on the super soft tyres. That's Sean on the mediums as we make our way now down towards the first turn. And that is the Sauber up the inside. At least he's braking late. Can the Williams find anything? Sean's still trying to stick it on the inside. Those super soft tyres are going to have a little bit more traction on the exit then as we head towards the Curva Grande. Too wide going through here. You can make it work if you give each other the room as we now make our way towards the Roger chicane. And that is Sean there looking like he's got the inside line and able to hold on to the position on the exit towards the Lesbos. Meanwhile then, Crazy now up to 9th off stream. He's now made a way past George Roberts. He's now up to 9th place. Good pace from Crazy in the early stages of this race.
Definitely, so just caught the end of it, just looks like he got better traction out of the Rettifilio chicane heading towards Curva Grande. Had the move done halfway around Curva Grande pretty easily there, so better traction out of the chicane. Meanwhile, Graham and Sean are still fighting up towards Ascari, and that's Graham sneaking back through there ahead of the Williams and back up into 6th place, but Sean's right on the tail of him. And what this is doing, this is kind of dragging Maze along into this now, because he was about 2.5 seconds down. It's now 1.8 as these two battle, as Sean looks up the inside into Parabolica. Pretty a quick corner, not normally somewhere you see a lot of overtaking due to the shortness of the braking zone there, and he's had to pull back in. But now he's going to get DRS surely coming down the straight here, and he's going to try and repay the favour down into the Rettifilio chicane. He's got the move well done before the braking zone, nice and easily. He's back up into 6th place. But this is the thing with the DRS and the slipstream effect. If you can stay close enough, you can just swap places back and forth. Meanwhile, White is going up the inside into the Delia Rogia chicane on Cooper's Force India, but has to back out of it, tries to switch back, heading towards the Lesmo corners, but again not able to do anything there. But he is right on the tail of that Force India, heading through the Lesmos. He's actually looking up the inside into Lesmo 2. He's just trying to fill the mirrors of that Force India, trying to put Cooper off, see if he can force it into a mistake. And now heading down towards Ascari, Cooper parks that Force India square in the middle of the road, but White is still able to get up the inside there, enough space given, and the Haas is through and up into the final podium position. Graham not able to retaliate on Sean. Maybe those mediums are now just coming into temperature, but Maze is nearly within DRS range on Graham, so he'll soon be dragging himself into that battle as well. Up the front though, I think Ollie nice and easy to be honest at the moment. He's not really trying to see. Jack's trying to weave about, trying to break the slipstream, and Ollie's not following him. I think Ollie feels very comfortable at the moment, and he's more than happy to take it easy and stick with Jack at the moment. Just hit his line, stay within the DRS range. That done, and he's looking pretty decent at the moment, if you say to me. Meanwhile, White and Cooper having a battle into the Rettifilio there, and White gets that move, sticks it done as Cooper tried to retaliate back through to gain it back. A little bit of wheel bumping on the exit there, but the Haas sticks into 3rd place. Cooper, the best thing to do here would be wait for the DRS zone down towards Ascari and see if he can do anything there, just like White did to him last time by.
Lots of battling going on, especially for 3rd place and also for 6th place. Wasn't quite sure which battle to watch in the end, and either way I got it wrong. But there we go. Shaw then 7th place, half a second now down on Graham. And as you were saying, Andy, all this is doing is allowing Maze and also Crazy Legs to catch up on this battle. And Crazy, who has been, it's fair to say, struggling this season, but he seems to be ready to try and take away some points today. And especially on those soft tyres, if he can make that one-stop work in front of the Tifosi here, he might have a good chance. Meanwhile, not the greatest exit in the world from Graham and the exit of Ascari, but Sean can't quite capitalise. I'll tell you why, because he's not running any ERS whatsoever down the back straight towards the Parabolica. And you can see here 4 cars ready to try and make a move for 6th place. This should be quite tasty. On the run down towards the Rettifilio chicane. You can see there the Williams Still trying to hold off them. Renault here as we head our way down towards turn 1. There is Mays who's trying to make a move. Will he try and make 2 moves into 1 corner? Here we go then down towards the Rettifilio chicane. Then Mays up the inside, which then becomes the outside. But you'll see there he'll get the better traction. And Mays makes the move done. And he moves up now to 7th place. Good move from Mays. Patient. Use that DRS to perfection there. And here comes Crazy, who tried the switchback. Very late switchback. Almost made contact, but timed it to perfection. What's his line then through the Della Rogia chicane? Well, it's not very good, that's for sure. He gets a 3-second time penalty, then runs onto the gravel. And just like that, Sean is straight back ahead. So all that work from Crazy has gone to pot, or has it? As we head now towards the second Lesmo. Again, these two are battling hard. And they're costing each other time. Look at this. Mays is just able to get away. Now he's got a chance to try and get past Graham. As Crazy and Sean fight their way now towards Ascari. But you can see there Crazy just about does enough for now. But that was a really scrappy battle. Both drivers not getting great lines through either of those corners. But they make it through. And as it stands then, Crazy moves ahead of Sean.
There's some good driving there. Mays with a very nice overtake into the Rettifilio, got the better traction on the exit, nice and clean. The drivers gave each other room. That looks like Graham heading for pit lane, so he's decided he's had enough of his super soft tyres, and he is now into the pits. Well, Naz and Cooper are having a bit of a battle, so that Force Indias fell away from the Haas, and now he's being overtaken by the Toro Rosso round the Curva Grande there, so better traction out of the Rettifilio as they were side by side through there, and coming up towards the Delia Rogia. I always say that wrong, it's Della Rogia, there we go. Oh, big moment there for the Toro Rosso, sideways, caught it, little clip there on the Force India, doesn't look like it's damaged the car, at least in terms of visual impact. That was very nearly a mistake, but having made the move done, Daz nearly throws it away there, and he's had to drop back down. Meanwhile, Crazy is now catching back up to Mays, who's doing a pretty nice race at the moment there in 6th position, coming up through the field. 2 places he's gained. Biggest gainer though is that Ferrari of Crazy Legs, up 5 places from the start. Your biggest loser is technically Graham, who's last and having dropped down 6 places, but he is the only driver to have made a pit stop so far, and he has gone from super softs as expected onto a set of medium tyres. Here comes Crazy, he's got a really good run out of the Ascari chicane. No DRS down here, but he's got the ERS turned up to 5 into hot lap mode to try and get past the Renault. And the important thing there for the Ferrari is that at the detection point when he hit the brakes, he was still behind me, so he'll get the DRS as well. Mays will not get that to help him because of where the detection was, but he's got the slipstream. There's a Red Bully Ollie coming out of pit lane ahead of him, that's going to impede them a little bit as well. Mays has to back out and decide better off it. Ollie's trying to stick his nose up the inside of the Renault, and then Sean trying to see if he can take advantage on the Red Bull coming out of pit lane. But that is now Ollie back out in 7th place, having made his pit stop on medium tyres. Jack leads White by 11.1 seconds from Cooper in 3rd. Those 3 are on the super softs. Expect them in probably this time by, as Ollie tries up the inside of Mays there into the Rogia chicane. That was a bit opportunistic and a bit late, if you don't mind me saying, and he needs to be careful because if he ends up with wing damage here, it's going to completely ruin his opportunity. As we said, he's on for a hat-trick here tonight, and he'll be hoping that, unlike Raheem Sterling last night, there'll be no need for VAR to take it away from him.
How do we manage to get a football remark in there? I don't know how you did that.
I'm good.
No comment. Naz here, trying to make some moves on Cooper. Now, we saw a couple of laps ago, just caught it on the stream there, that going down the main straight, Naz was actually on the grass, 2 wheels on the grass, and Cooper now comes into the pits. It's a really difficult pit lane to come into. You're just doing just over 280 kilometres an hour, and you've got to go all the way back down to 80. Really difficult pit lane. Cooper then into the pits, and this looks like a set of medium tyres are just about to go on, and they do. So that means then Jack's still out in the race lead. White is in 2nd. They are both yet to stop, of course. The question is when they stop, of course. And also, what is this doing for Ollie? Because, of course, he's gone for the undercut, wants to try and make that work. But is he actually gaining time on Jack ahead of him?
At the moment, I've got to say no. About when we seen all the battling in the midfield, Ollie was, remember, he was about 2-3 tenths behind, and I didn't catch it on my camera, but I think he made a small mistake at the Ascari chicane one lap. He's just managed to get the move done there on Mays, and into 5th place out the Roger and into the Lesmos. So he needs to be careful. He's fighting back into Lesmo too, but he's not going to have the same amount of grip as Red Bull does on a attack. But right now, 6.5 seconds down on the lead. If you get the pit stop absolutely perfect, so around about 22-23 seconds back, just about should come out. In fact, he's in pit lane now, so I'm going to follow Ollie on board as Jack's in pit lane and see just where he comes out at the end of this. But Jack into pit lane, race leader pits and onto a set of mediums at the end of lap 10, the start of lap 11. That puts White into the lead of the race, but where does Jack come out in relation to Ollie? He is obviously underway. It looks like he's going to be well out in front. He's coming towards the pit exit, but of course Ollie's going at over 200 miles an hour. He's got the Ferrari ahead. Jack's well out in front, and that is going to be the net lead of the race and a couple of seconds in hand for your championship leader. So pitting early and getting stuck in the traffic has not worked out for the Red Bull driver at all at the moment.
No, absolutely not. So Jack then takes the lead, well, net lead of the race anyway. Of course, we've got White ahead in the lead. Naz is in second, but they're both yet to stop in this one. That puts Crazy Legs up to 4th place. Again, still yet to stop, but he gets himself another 3-second time penalty. So, although he's got some good pace about him today, keeping those 4 wheels on the black stuff, it seems to be costing him now.
Yeah, it's his second penalty, I do believe. I'll have a wee look at that in a minute. White's just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well there. It's very easy to do with the curbs here on the chicanes. You've got to be very careful. It could come back later on. We've seen it many a time in races where penalties have actually decided the podium slots in some of the higher paying points positions. Ollie running very wide out of the Ascari chicane, trying to chase Crazy down towards Parabolic at the top. 2 haven't pitted as White now actually does come into the pit, so that's going to release Naz into the lead of this race. He's on the soft tyres, so he's got to say at least another 4 or 5 laps. Crazy's coming into pit lane as well, so that releases Ollie, so he's not going to get held up behind the Ferrari for too long there, and that means the next car in front of him is Jack. I'm just going to see what the gap is real quickly between them. It's 1.5 seconds, so considering actually that he was behind a lot more, it's actually worked out not too bad for Ollie, because when he did pit he was about 1.5 seconds behind, so he's obviously finding some tyres in comparison to Jack at the moment. He's obviously been on them for 2 laps fresher, older as well, but he's been able to get the temperature into them, and that's maybe why he's able to just close that gap up. Maze has been at the pit lane. I think everybody now except most of the drivers have actually pitted. Some of the soft drivers have now been in as well, so we're only waiting for pit stops from Sean, Alan Key, they're 4th and 5th respectively, and the race leader Naz up in the Toro Rosso in 1st place. Plaster's not pitted either, down in 7th place, so 4 drivers still to pit at the moment. It'll be interesting to see when they come in and when they do, where they could come out. I'm just trying to figure out at the moment. Naz should come out just ahead of Plaster, drop into 6th position when he does decide to pit. If the gap stays roughly what it is at the moment, he should come out somewhere very close to that Ferrari, which will be obviously running long on the medium tyres.
And speak of the devil, here he comes into the pits then, Naz, from the race lead. Well, let's see how right Andy is then. Let's see where he rejoins as he makes his way slowly towards that pit box. 80 kilometres per hour here. On go a set of medium tyres for the Toro Rosso. And away he goes again, ready to rejoin the track. So let's see how right Andy is then. Plaster now making his way down the main straight. Of course, Naz much closer to the pit exit than Jack was, and there is the Ferrari of Plaster then making his way down the main straight, and Naz here is going to have a battle here with the Ferrari heading down towards turn 1, and he's rejoined just behind Plaster here. I'll tell you what, Andy, I'll give you that one.
It was close. I knew it was going to be pretty close. I was thinking he might just make it, but of course Ferrari coming down at 200 when you're still coming up to speed is not the easiest thing. White has just got himself ahead of Alan Kay before the Rogier chicane, and Naz is trying to be switcheroo here into the Rogier chicane as well. I think Plaster just let him go there, realised he's on fresh tyres, he's in a completely different race to the Toro Rosso, he needs to concentrate on his own, so he's let him go through. That's pretty helpful though for Naz, because it means he's now released and able to get a move on as Cooper's coming up behind that Ferrari as well. Plaster actually off at Lesmo too, so he's been a wee bit over helpful there to the Force India, getting onto the gravel. Won't help his tyres at all, obviously, and that releases the Force India as well to go and chase back after that Toro Rosso.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looked like he carried a little bit too much speed into the corner, and now he's got himself a 3-second time penalty to add to his troubles then. So it's been a torrid lap 13 for Plaster then as he makes his way up towards the Parabolica. But Jack then on lap number 14 in the lead of this race. Ollie is in second, 2 seconds back. It's Sean in third, White in fourth, Alan Kay in fifth, yet to stop of course, as is Sean in front of him. Naz, who's just rejoined, he's in sixth place with Cooper there in seventh. And here we go then, Cooper's got a massive amount of speed then, obviously with that DRS, 354 kph on the run down towards turn one, up the inside. And has the Force India got the move done? Well, the Toro Rosso is still on the inside, but Cooper there had the better traction on 3-lap older medium tyres. Of course, it does take a while for all those mediums to warm up, and Cooper's got the move done. But I don't think Naz is done with this move on the run up towards the Della Roger chicane. But Cooper then already got a little bit of a healthy advantage now on the run up towards the Lesmos.
Yeah, plenty of good action going on. I was just having a look through the penalty situation there for the drivers, and I must say there's actually a lot of drivers out there. Sean, Alan Kay I believe as well, and Mays come to mind. There's a couple of others. No warnings at all so far in the race, which around this place is pretty impressive. Your penalty situation at the moment though is Naz lines up a move on Cooper into Ascari, but has to back out as Jack sets the fastest lap of the race. He's now increased his lead to 2.8 seconds overall, so it looks like those mediums are up to temperature. Cooper got a poor run out of Ascari, ran very wide. The Toro Rosso is going to get the move done, trying to into Parabolica. He's going to have DRS to help him, and if I look back, Crazy's in the wall up at Ascari. That's what the yellow flag is, facing the wrong way. I'm going to try and see if he's got any damage to that Ferrari, but he's got wing damage, so he's going to be into pit lane before long. Meanwhile, Naz gets the move done on Cooper down into the first chicane under DRS, and he slides wide again like he did earlier at the Roger chicane, but manages to hold on and keep the place. So the Force India now has got to try and fight back, but Crazy unfortunately having to make a second pit stop, a mistake out of the Ascari chicane. He was on the left hand side, and it'll be the usual bit, catching the curb on the exit, and it just spits the car across the road. He's lucky to still be in the race though, and only have to get a repair of front wing, because he could quite easily have lost a wheel in that one, so at least he can still fight another day. I was going through the penalties there. Crazy does have 2 3-second time penalties. Plaster is now up to 3. He had 2 when I was looking at it, and then got another one. White has a 1-second time penalty, as does Naz as well. So the battle for 6th and 7th is as it is, because they both have the same time penalty. So there's nothing in the way of these drivers at the moment. It is a complete fight on the road, and it is the closest battle on track, as the field's a little bit spread out now after the pit stop phase. We're still waiting though on Alan Kay and Plaster to come into pit lane, as well as Sean, in fact, who's running long as well on the mediums. Not surprised at Sean and Plaster on the mediums, but Alan Kay, and just as I say that, the Irishman in his Renault heads for pit lane. I was about to say I'm surprised he's not came in earlier. And Crazy Legs is retired from the race, so insult to misery there for the Ferrari. He was looking good as well, some good pace, but unfortunately for him, it is race over.
Absolutely, becomes the first retirement of the day then on lap number 15. It would have been for him. Retires from the racing in that Ferrari. So the lone Ferrari there of Plaster is in 10th place. He's just come into the pits. Meanwhile, Cooper here might have a good run on Naz as we head towards the Della Roger chicane, but this time he can't quite find a way through. And that seems to be a tactic for Naz. He seems to really overrun the entry into the chicanes, and then that allows him to try and focus on the exit. It's quite a unique way of doing it, but you know what? It's working. He's staying ahead of Cooper.
Whatever does the trick to work, and that's what you need to be doing. But Cooper's got the run, the DRS under the old historic banking bridge there into the Ascari chicane, and pretty easily through. In fact, oh, big moment there. Where is Naz? He's managed to avoid the wall somehow, spinning, but he has wing damage on the front left hand side of that Toro Rosso. You can see it there, so he's going to be in pit lane. So having done all of that good work there, despite losing the place, a mistake on the exit of the first part of the chicane, going through the second part, too much curb, pitched him across the track. Again, like Crazy, lucky to avoid losing a wheel, because I thought he was going to be well into the wall, but he's got wing damage and he'll be heading for pit lane, so that's going to put paid to his plans of getting some good points here today. Meanwhile, Sean has came in and out of the pits, and he's still in 5th place. Only Cooper has moved ahead of him, and the Williams, like Alan Kay in the Renault and Plaster in the Ferrari, have gone for the super soft tyres for these last 11-12 laps of the race. So that's a wee bit interesting, because that's, for me, a bit on the limit, and Naz has pulled into pit lane and decided to call it a day. So everybody at finishes now will score at least one World Championship point.
Yeah, it looked like Naz there just overrun the corner into the first part of the Scari. That put a rear tyre into the gravel, and from there it sort of wrote its own story. But yeah, well, Naz then becomes a second retirement, deciding to retire in the pit lane. Then he'll be joining Crazy Legs on the sidelines. But as you say, Andy, you just have to make it to the checkered flag now, and you'll get a good haul of points. And that's what Plastic is thinking. He's on super softs, like you say, Andy. Well, they've got to do, what, 11 laps now? 10 laps if they're on the same lap as Jack. It's doable. It is doable. But we'll have to keep an eye on him towards the end of the race. We know Alan Kay is good on tyres. He's one of the best at keeping the tyres in check, and his tyre wear is really good. That's how he's managed to do 14 laps on those soft tyres. We'll have to wait and see. In fact, it was 16 laps on the soft tyres, wasn't it? So we'll have to wait and see.
It was 16.
So he's already proven he's good on tyre wear. So whether he can get those super softs to the end, I don't think that's a realistic. Well, it's not even a question. Alan Kay should be able to do it. It's just Sean and Plaster. Can they make their tyres last?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for Alan, because we know what he's like with his driving style and that, he is very soft and very good on the tyres, so he should be okay there. But it is obviously still, if you just take the tyre on its own, the super soft tyre, and just look at it is, you know, a bit on the marginal side. What will be helping, obviously, though, is it is later in the race. The cars will be lighter, they don't have all the race fuel in them, so not as heavy as they would have been in the early stages. That also will help the tyre life as well. So hopefully it's going to be a good bit here, because I think, obviously I said it before the race, Sean on the medium tyres with a good lap time when he qualified in 7th place on the mediums. Now on those super softs in 5th, and he's got fresh tyres to try and chase down Cooper, who's up ahead 4 seconds clear at the moment in 4th. So you don't have a good haul of points, and you never know, he could still sneak into there somewhere. But Jack he got the lead up quite a bit to around 3 or 4 seconds, and it's now down. In fact, what is going on with Jack? He's lost a lot of time there. He lost about 4 tenths just coming through the Curva Grande. So I wonder if he's ran wide coming through the first chicane and got it wrong, as Alan Kay sneaks up the inside of Graham Salber into Parabolica, and those super soft tyres for the Renault working very, very nicely indeed there. But that Salber now has the DRS because the move was done before the detection point. The detection point is in the braking area for the Parabolica, and Graham was behind at the time, so he's able to retake that place into the Ritafilio chicane, and that is a move. I think these two could be battling for a little bit, but Ollie is now within sniffing distance. He can smell that Petronas oil in the back of that Mercedes. He can smell this 3rd victory in a row here. He likes Thursday nights. He has a chance to prove it. He is now just about within DRS range, so this is just spiced up a little bit, and I'm not sure what Jack did, but he lost a lot of time.
Well, whatever's happened here, you can see Ollie is sort of weaving down the straights. I think he knows we're watching him at the moment, Andy, as he makes his way now down towards the first corner. Maybe he knows he's watching us. Maybe he's trying to get some heat into the tyres. Either way, he's weaving down that straight. Maybe just trying to lure that Mercedes into a false sense of security, into a mistake, as Squeezy has so far been pretty bulletproof this season in terms of mistakes, but they still can happen in a title reigning season, and even with almost a 100-point gap, it's still anybody's for the taking, especially as Ollie's late form has really come to surface. We had a chat with him the last time, and he was talking about the ERS management and how in certain places, especially at the Belgian Grand Prix, that you could run no energy output at all and still be able to keep up with the car ahead. So he seems to have mastered the ERS, and at this late stage, with 7 and a bit laps to go, it certainly looks like it's helping.
Definitely so, and you know, if you look, they've both got similar battery levels at the moment. Sean has moved up into 4th place, got up to that before Cindy Cooper's very quickly, made an easy DRS move into the first chicane, the Rettifilio, and he's already pulled out of DRS range, so that's how good those super soft tyres. Meanwhile though, Ollie is in DRS, he's in the slipstream, he's hunting, he's nearly touching 220 miles an hour. He's actually closed the DRS early there to help him get braking into the chicane. He's now got the inside line. Can Jack get on the power out? They're going to go side by side up towards the Curva Grande. The Mercedes is back ahead of the Red Bull, but that Red Bull is looking very feisty. It looks like he might just try again to have a switch back. The Mercedes goes to the inside, goes defensive back to the racing line for the chicane, and Ollie has to pull back in for the meantime and follow the Mercedes through the second chicane and up through the Lesmos, but he's going to have another help in the DRS down towards the Ascari chicane there. As I got a little bit of lag on my screen, I wondered what was going on, but I think his best chance will be to follow through Parabolica as closely as he possibly can and use the DRS down there, and you can see that's probably what he's thinking. He's using the DRS to stay close up to Ascari, turn the battery all the way down to nada. So to charge up, Strax ran wide there out of Ascari, and now Ollie is going to just try and follow and use the slipstream down towards Parabolica. You'll see the white line there, that's the detection point. Ollie sneaking up the inside, can he get the move done? No, he cannot, he has to follow, but he was behind at the detection point, so he should get the DRS, and he does, and he's right in the slipstream even before he opens the DRS. This should be a bit of a Michael Jordan slam dunk with that DRS easily going. There's a McLaren there ghosting, but that Mercedes is pretty quick into the braking zone, and Jack's managed to hold on to it, but he's picked up a 3-second time penalty for jumping across the curbs. That's his first penalty, and that means at the moment Ollie has the theoretical lead of the race because he's not picked up any penalties yet. But I thought he was going to have that move done pretty easily there under DRS, but that Mercedes is looking pretty quick and pretty slippery with a straight line.
Well, it does, doesn't it? And it just means Ollie's going to have to work that little bit harder. That McLaren then of George Roberts, who's just pitted in onto a fresh set of super soft tyres that will definitely get him to the end of the race, but he finds him half a minute down from the next car. He's just looking to get some points on the board for this race. Ollie then 6/10 down on Jack, but you can see that pressure he's applying Ollie onto Jack seems to be working. Have a look on the exit of the third part of Parabolica once again. Yeah, Jack got it right that time, and he's able to keep it more under control, and that loss of control from Jack on the last lap was key to Ollie trying to catch up. This time though, he can't put off Jack going through the inside and maybe try and compromise the exit. He's got to do it the old-fashioned way, and when I say the old-fashioned way, it's with slipstream and DRS. As we now head all the way down the main straight, let's see how quickly Ollie can catch up. He's closing, he's gaining, he's got a lot more speed this time around, moves to the inside, heading now down towards the first turn. They're running side by side, don't touch at all through there, but Jack's lost the back end on the exit. They make contact on the exit, unintentional of course, but Ollie now has the inside line through the Curva Grande. And has he got the move done? They're still running side by side as we make our way through, but the Red Bull has the move done, at least up until the second chicane of Della Roger. And yes, that is the Red Bull who's taken the race lead, and then he parks it on the exit. No way through for Jack then, so a lead change. Ollie into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, and he'll be looking to try and make it 3 wins on the trot.
Yeah, no, good driving from both of them there. Kept it very clean into the chicane. There was a touch, but that was just Jack getting a bit of a tank slapper coming out. He's going to benefit from the DRS coming up towards the Ascari chicane. Ollie just keeps it in the line. It's not really an overtaking zone really into Ascari. You've got to be alongside well before the chicane. So Jack knows he'll be doing the same thing that Ollie was doing for the last few laps. Follow down into Parabolica, stay as close as possible, get the detection points, so the Mercedes will be the one with the DRS. Didn't try to go up the inside, and you can see that Red Bull harvesting energy with a light flashing, but they're both up into 4 on the ERS, so they're both using it. But now Jack with the DRS as they go on to lap 24 of 27, and the Mercedes flying down towards turn 1 and gets the move done just into the braking zone there, and that is the Mercedes back through and into the lead of the race. So now Ollie's got to repeat that next time by. I'll say one thing though, having jumped between the two of them for the last couple of laps, they are very similar, eerily similar on how they use their ERS management. They've both got very close battery levels most laps. There's Ollie picking up his first penalty, so now it makes it a straight fight between the two of them because they both have a 3-second time penalty between them. But their ERS managing is eerily similar on some laps. Both, even right now, 76 and 75% battery life available. They're both managing this very well to be able to defend and attack as best as possible. As Graham gets by on Plaster coming out of Parabolica, and he's got DRS to help him as well, taking him up into 8th place. But that Ferrari's not giving up. That's very close still, going down to the chicane here into the first turn, but no, Salvat has got the move done, and Ollie now will be the one to try and attack into turn 1, this time by with a DRS.
Absolutely, we make our way around Parabolica then, and it's almost 3 laps to go here at the Italian Grand Prix, and this win is anybody's guess right now. They're both on a 3-second time penalty. So as Andy said, it is a straight fight between them. Riding on board with Ollie, then you can see him close the gap once again. Moves to the left-hand side as late as possible, down towards the first chicane. And you can see that the Mercedes has the inside line again, getting a little bit of a tank slapper on the exit of turn 1 there. But just about able to keep it all together and keep that car pointing the right way. It means he holds the lead of the race then with 3 laps to go. And 3 laps to go then, Jack leading with Ollie in second, White in third, looking to try and take another podium, which I believe will be his 2nd podium of the season. Sean there in 4th with Cooper 5th, Mays in 6th, Alokay 7th. Plaster has made his way past Graham. He's now up to 8th place, then Graham dropping to 9th, and George Roberts running in 10th place. And of course, you need to finish this race in order to score those points. Riding aboard once again with Ollie as we head through the Curva de Seraglio. On the way now towards Ascari. The left, right, left. You've got to get this perfect now with the tyre wear high, not giving you as much grip as before. You've got to be careful on those curbs now, especially through the high-speed corners. It's a very high chance now that those rear tyres will just simply give up the ghost. And as we see now heading towards Parabolica, Ollie is still within DRS range, and Jack there using that green AstroTurf there, very brave of him to do that. You can easily lose the back end, and Ollie looks a little bit further back than he has been so far. Maybe that ERS management is coming back to bite him. Maybe Jack used a bit more as we now head our way down towards the Retifido chicane. You can see there Jack comfortably holding on to the lead this time around. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, penultimate lap nearly, coming up to the final lap this time by, and I think, looking at it, Ollie's maybe just backed off a little bit just to let the tyres cool down, maybe overheated them a wee bit, let them get the battery charged back up for an attack into this final lap or two that we've got. And he's got a much better run out the second chicane. Jack made a mistake there, just got the car sideways, couldn't get the power down, and Ollie sneaks up the inside. Probably wasn't expecting that, the Red Bull driver, but he has sneaked through and back into the lead of this race on the penultimate lap. The next time they go by, they'll be onto the final lap, and it's Jack now though with the DRS as they come down towards the Ascari chicane underneath the bridge for the old banking, and the Mercedes is back into the lead of the race just like that. Having made a mistake, he gains it back really quickly and has now got one more lap, another 3.6 miles around to get the victory and to stop Ollie from taking the hat-trick there. We've got George, who's been in the chat earlier on, shouting on Cooper, and Big C shouting on for Ollie. He wants to see the hat-trick for the Red Bull drivers. They come across the line to start the final lap of the Italian Grand Prix, and despite only having 12 drivers starting, we have had plenty to talk about tonight here, Kieran, and let's see, can the Red Bull do anything coming down into the chicane? The Mercedes thinks to go defensive, left it too late. The Red Bull's up the inside, there's a little bit of touch in there but not a massive, and Jack holds on to the lead for now as they head towards Curva Grande for the last time.
Well, it's going to be very close then. It's probably whoever's going to have DRS down towards Ascari might have a good chance of winning this one, but Ollie here, will he try and move in towards the second chicane, the Della Roger? He doesn't. He's got to try and keep it together though. He hasn't got the great run that Jack got through there as we head towards the two Lesmos now. Remember, they're both on the same penalty, 3 seconds for both of them. It's all on track now unless one of them makes a mistake and cuts another corner.
I'll tell you one thing, sorry, Jack's fuel light's flashing. All these has only just came on now. Jack's has been flashing for most of this lap, so maybe he's had to turn the fuel down. That could come into it as well to come through Ascari. That could be interesting too.
Well, Jack's gone very wide on the exit of Ascari, but to me this looks a little bit too much for Ollie then. As we now head towards the Parabolica for the final time then. Jack will come around the final corner. Can he break the deadlock that Ollie's been holding over him. Jack heads towards the line. He's weaving. He's going for it. He wins the Italian Grand Prix by 7/10 of a second. Fantastic battling between the two of them. And Jack wins here in Italy. And that's going to be White then coming towards the line. It's a podium for the Haas driver. Fantastic for him. And it's his first podium for the Haas team. So a very, very well done to him. Sean then coming around the final corner now. And it looks like to be he's going to finish in 4th place. Good result for him. And he makes his way now towards the line and takes the checkered flag by going across the line in style. I'm going to put that down to. Cooper then making his way around the final corner. Pursuit in the last race. Now he's Cooper. A name change seems to have attachments to a better form maybe, as he now crosses the line in 5th place and takes some valuable points home for Force India. Mays finishing in 6th place. Alan Kay, after his qualifying troubles, finishes in 7th place. Blaster looking like he's going to come home in 8th place. It is points for Ferrari, and especially what they've been through this season so far, I think they'll take that in front of their home crowd. And Graham there, well, mistimed and miscalculated the fuel. He's having to really crawl across the line in low fuel mode. But your winner of the Italian Grand Prix, another win on the board for Jack.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from both him and Ollie. Gave us a very exciting finish to the race, but it is the championship leader who takes the 25 points here tonight, and that will just increase his championship leads now. That might just sneak him over the 100 point gap as well, possibly. If not, it'll be very, very close to it now with that. But Ollie, 2nd place, so that's 2 wins and a second on the bounce there, so it's good consistent form from him as well. I'm sure he'll be happy with 2nd, although I'm sure he thought he maybe had the chance of the victory here tonight, but it was the Mercedes just able to hold out in the end. And as you say, though, the Haas driver getting a very good result there in 3rd place for White. So your standings: Jack wins from Ollie in 2nd, White rounds out the top 3 in the podium spot, and with the Italian flag there at the Italian Grand Prix, the home fans will be happy with that one as well. Sean finishes in 4th, having started in 7th on the medium, so he had a good race as well, good points. Cooper in 5th, Mays in 6th, Alan Kay 7th, Plaster 8th, Graham in 9th, George Roberts rounds out the top 10, Naz and Crazy Legs crashed out, and there was a few drivers with no penalties at all during the race. You've got Sean, Cooper, Mays, Alan Kay and Graham, so 5 drivers without a penalty, but I need to give a shout out more so to Mays and Alan Kay, because those two didn't even get a single warning during the race. Sean nearly done it. He got a warning on the last lap and ruined it. So around here, well done to them, because that's so easy to get a warning around here, I think, and they've ended up with absolutely none at all.
And just to confirm then, Jack does get the A logo fastest lap of the race. 3 drivers on a 122.5 at the end of that race, but Jack just edged it out by, I believe, 0.05 of a second, so he wins the A logo fastest lap of the race. So congratulations to him. Of course, if we get the results, which I doubt we will, by the end of the stream, we will let you know about driver of the day. But it is driver voted, and the votes close at 9:45 tonight, so I doubt Andy will know, unless it's very one-sided.
Well, we'll have a look and see. I've already seen a few votes for Sean, so you know, maybe we will know, but we'll wait and see what goes on. But despite the small field, as we said, very good race, very entertaining race, especially towards the end there between the top 2, kept us plenty of entertainment. Good scrap in the midfield earlier on as well, seen some good battles. Mays, Sean, Cooper, Naz before he retired as well, having a good fight with the Force India. So still quite a lot to keep us talking here tonight, but it is Jack who takes the victory, and that does obviously then increase his championship lead. I'm going to try and work the maths out, and I'll try and work it out for you before Commentator's Corner.
Well, it's a 99-point gap, I can tell you that right now.
You've got a calculator there.
I worked it out whilst you were going through the standings. I thought you were going to hand over to me, so I rushed it. But yes, 99 points now, the gap between the top 2 drivers. Of course, we're going to have Commentator's Corner, and we're going to see who joins us in the commentary box. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you're notified every time the channel goes live. And funnily enough, we'll be going live in a couple of minutes' time for Commentator's Corner. Stay tuned to the channel.